Hi Jules, this is Jules Ius. She is known on Twitter as Liger. It's a great little Twitter account. We'll link it right up here so you can see what it looks like. Jump onto her account, have a look. Jules is actually very active in advocacy in the western suburbs. So hello Jules, how are you today?
Doing well, thanks.
Excellent. First question we always ask, why do you ride?
To get around.
To get around?
Yeah, mostly.
Is that simple?
Yeah, pretty much. When I first moved here, I'm from the States. I couldn't afford a car. I couldn't find a job for a few months, so I found an old bike in the back of my in-laws' garage, and just to find my way around the neighborhood and see where I was living, I would just go for bike rides.
Now you've got more than one bike.
I do.
But your bike behind us, the Trek Electric, is your current bike?
Yes.
Why do you have an electric bike at the moment?
Well, I'm 6 months pregnant, and I commute 36 kilometers return every day.
Jules, can I embarrass you and ask you to stand up for a moment?
Yes.
So, it is not chocolate?
Yes.
That is definitely...
there is some chocolate.
But it is definitely 6 months pregnant. And you're riding every day?
Mm-hmm. I try to.
Or try to. How
Yeah.
far are we riding?
It's about 18 kilometers each way. So, yeah.
36k a day. I know sports riders that don't do 36k's a day.
Yeah. It's faster than public transit.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that totally.
Yeah.
And you're coming in from?
About Altona Gate.
Yeah, so the western suburbs.
Yep, and I ride to, just shy of the boulevard.
Ever go over the boulevard on the track or?
Not on this one, no.
No? Tell me, what sort of bikes have you ridden in the past?
Well, the one that I started on when I got here was an absolute beater. Like, I think it originally came from Kmart or Aldi. It was, I think, my husband's old, childhood mountain bike. It fell apart on every ride. Since then, I've got, I had a hybrid bike before this one that I just used for commuting. I've got a road bike just for weekend rides and racing. And just for the heck of it, I have a beach cruiser as well.
So you've done a bit of racing as well?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Are you a member of a club at the moment, or?
Not at the moment, just because I got pregnant at the start of the year, and so rather than renew my dues, I just I go and watch sometimes. But yes, I used to race with the Footscray Cycling Club.
Excellent. So you ride over here. You've been riding since you got here. Mm-hmm. Did you ride back home?
No, not really. I lived in Seattle, and at the time, it was very much not bike friendly. The people and the infrastructure.
Now you've actually got some pretty bike friendly people there now, though. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm just pointing here to say, check out this account. Jules sent me this account yesterday to look at, and it's one of their active transport people in Seattle, and he's doing a lot of great work. What's it like watching from here what's going on over there?
It's really exciting, honestly. I was so car dependent when I lived there. I tried riding my bike once, and I made it about 2 blocks from my apartment and decided that it was not a good idea. It's really, really great to see protected cycle lanes going in. It's great to see more pedestrianized streets in the city and everything, and I really don't think that I'll recognize it when I go home.
Seattle, though, is very much like Melbourne.
It is.
The layout's the same as Melbourne, the block structure is the same as Melbourne, and the drivers were the same as Melbourne drivers are effectively at the moment, a little bit aggressive. They were a little bit aggressive. Their attitudes have changed a lot. When's the last time you've been home?
The last time I was in Seattle would be 2015.
And did you ride then when you went over?
No, I didn't really get the opportunity.
Okay.
So we mostly stayed with friends and took public transit.
But you told your friends that you ride in Melbourne?
Yeah.
What did they think?
Yeah, they thought I was crazy at first. Yeah.
So, but now they've seen. I mean, did they say you were crazy because it's not like Seattle, or were they saying you were crazy because riding a bike is crazy?
Because they thought I would get hurt. Yeah, it's most of my friends back home either have a car or they take the bus everywhere. So the fact that I was getting onto a bike every day and risking my life was just absolutely bizarre to them.
So while we talk about that, this is a little bit of a segue to talk about riding being pregnant. So tell me about that. What I mean by that is, don't just tell me about what it's like now. What was it like as you were getting to 6 months?
It's been really interesting. Because like some days are more difficult than others. Like I get kind of growing pains and cramps and that kind of stuff, and that's really where the e-bike comes in handy. Because suddenly, you get like a stomach cramp or something, and it's suddenly you can't pedal. So it's really nice to be able to just boost up the assistance and just kind of let the bike do more of the work. And I can still get home in about the same amount of time, which is really nice. We also spoke before. Last night we spoke about riding the e-bike has opened up a lot more to you as well. Do you travel other places now other than just work on the e-bike, or? Yeah, I mean, occasionally I'll just go for a joyride, or on the weekends I'll do my grocery shopping on it.
And while you're pregnant, so this is an important thing to understand, is that it's not holding you back at all.
No, not at all.
And being able to ride, of course, is better for your health and better for baby's health. So you'll be able to, your child, as long as the child keeps riding, will be able to say, I was riding 9 months before I was born.
Oh yeah, definitely. And since I got the bike, I've actually been riding more in general. Over the winter previously, if it was too windy or too rainy or too cold, I would take the bus. Now I just keep riding.
You've got the Fly 6 on the back.
I do.
Why do you have that?
Insurance.
Tell me.
So when I first started riding, I did have quite a few close calls. If you've ever ridden in the western suburbs in Melbourne,
unfortunately too often,
you get quite a few punishment passes, especially on group rides. I did a lot of weekend shop rides and stuff, and we would get a lot of close calls with a lot of large trucks. So I just started recording just in case.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll get a really good video out of it.
How long does the bike last you on full charge?
Oh, about 110 kilometers.
Oh, so getting to and from work, you could do that almost 3 times?
Yeah, a little bit less now that I'm relying on the motor a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get 2 or 3 days worth of commuting out of it.
And are you hoping to go all the way up to 9 months on the bike?
Definitely. I will keep riding as long as the doctor lets me.
Now, you're going to realise that I'm going to get in touch with you before the 9 months, or you're going to get in touch with me before the 9 months is up, and we're going to get some updated photos. And
sure.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
We spoke about the western suburbs. You mentioned the western suburbs, and now we know that the western suburbs is trying to be calmed. What do you know about what's happening out the west?
I know a few things, mostly that where the Federation Trail is getting finished off the back of the Westgate Tunnel project. I'm hopeful that'll actually happen. I know Footscray Road has had quite a bit of work done. It seems to change on a weekly basis. God, I think it must have been a year or so ago. I remember going to a community session with Tim Watts, our MP.
That's where I've met you before.
There you go.
Yeah, down in Footscray, border of Footscray and Yarraville, down at the community centre there.
Yes. Yeah. So I just managed barely to make it to that after work one night. So it seemed like there was a lot of hope and promise made there. I think we're just starting to see it actually come to fruition.
Now, Tim Watts is the federal minister for Labour for the Footscray area. I cannot remember for the life of me what that area is.
Maribyrnong.
Oh, is it Maribyrnong?
I think so.
Okay, he borders with Bill Shorten. So Bill and Tim both talk about bikes on a regular basis, and Bill's interview, which is there, where he talks about bikes, was actually at the community centre in looking over the city one time, and I spoke to Bill there about what he thought about bikes. And he's no longer the opposition leader, of course, but he's still there, and we need strong politicians to help, especially in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ride in Melbourne and you ride in the West, it is commonly known as the Wild West. It is unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
We just got a house in Altona North a year ago, which was roughly the same time that the Westgate Tunnel project closed the trail along the freeway. So pretty much as soon as we moved into that house, I was riding along Blackshaws Road to go east.
I want to talk about that. Basically what happens is the council, Vic Road, the federal roads projects will announce something, close a road off, put a big sign up saying cyclists bugger off. Do you get much notice? Do you get any notice? Or do you get a sign?
Most times I don't get much notice. I've become really good at following the right accounts on Twitter to get updates on closures and stuff. All of those are car-centric, so I have to kind of figure out my own detour anytime that happens. Currently, coming through Spotswood and onto Douglas Parade Hyde Street. They've been doing works on that bridge to strengthen it and do a bunch of other stuff for the past several months. And again, about once a week, the lane changes on which one I can use. And now it's permanently down to one lane without a bike lane. So it's, the few spots on my trip that get pretty hairy. I just like to let the car behind me wait while I ride.
Tell me about what it's like to. Have you ridden in other states or other places at all, or have you just mainly ridden just in Melbourne?
Mostly just in Melbourne. I haven't had a huge opportunity to get out yet, just because of general stuff. My husband doesn't really ride, so we don't really go out for rides together that often. Mostly it's down to Altona Pier to get fish and chips or something like that.
Oh no, that's worthy. That is worthy. Yeah. So as long as he's doing that, he's a rider.
Yeah. But I did the Whittlesea challenge a couple of years ago with friends.
The 100k. There was a 100k challenge.
I only did the 65k.
The 65k.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy, the descent at the end was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, coming down Hume Vale. Oh, I love that ride.
I think I hit my high speed record on that one. Not on that.
So you enjoyed the Whittlesea challenge?
Yeah, it was good. I'm honestly I'm not built for hills. Yeah. But descending, you get that nice gravity boost. It's good. So yeah, I think I hit about 76, but I actually ran into traffic on the way down and had to slow down.
Oh no!
Yeah, there were a couple of cars ahead of me that were braking around all the turns.
That's an 80k zone there anyway, so
exactly. I'm always going within the limits.
85 k's on a bike. I didn't have a speedo that I could look at. Yeah, my excuse.
Oh, I checked my Garmin once I got down.
My excuse.
Once I could peel my hands away from the handlebars. But yeah, so most of the exploration I've done, I guess, has been either on group rides or those big participation events, we did the Descent a couple of years ago, Ascent, the women's ride
yes.
that Bicycle Network put on.
The other bikes you've got, tell me about you've got a road bike?
Yes, so I've got the Trek Damani. I don't fit on women's bikes versus men's bikes, so...
She's taller than me.
I'm 6 feet tall.
6 feet tall. I'm just under 6 feet, and I'm looking up at Jules when I'm talking to her standing up. So I'm looking up at her a wee bit now. So.
Yeah.
But that's good. So tell me about this bike then.
Yeah. So basically, once I was, my first job in Australia was at a bike shop. Absolutely lucked out. It was right when a local bike shop opened up in Williamstown, and I happened to just wander in. And I was applying at cafes and wherever I could hand over my resume because I was still on a temporary visa. So I just happened to get a job there. I didn't know how to change a tube when I started, and a couple years later, I've got a garage full of bikes. But yeah, part of the job that I really got into was my manager put me on my first road bike. Absolutely loved it. It's light, fast, and turns on at time, and it was great. So we started doing women's shop rides after that. I got a fairly decent road bike. I started going to the local club events. We did the Bob Robson Memorial the first year that they had women racing.
Yeah.
Didn't finish, but it was totally great to be part of it.
Doesn't matter if you finish
I
a
had
race.
a massive asthma attack.
As long as you do your best, that's what it's all about.
Yep. So yeah, I went until the hay fever got to me. The road bike I use for all of the events that I do. and then I just have a really classic, relaxed, single-speed beach cruiser, just for getting over the neighborhood.
Got to have a single speed. Everyone, you've got to have a single speed. You cannot get away with having just.
It's the best.
Oh, I love my single speed. It's not a fixie. My son rides a fixie. I ride a single. But my single speed has done. The longest ride I did on that was 85k, and I wrecked the seat.
I've commuted on mine. I've done the 18k commute.
Oh, you know, I commuted on it. 12k's each way for a number of weeks, just because I didn't want to wreck my road bike because it's coming up to a race.
I did mine as a bit of a fundraiser challenge. The Great Cycle Challenge in October. I always promise that if I raise a certain amount, then I'll ride my silly beach cruiser bike for a week to get to work. The biggest challenge is getting the handlebars through the city, coming up to the red lights next to cars, and I have to kind of like work it around the side mirrors.
And I mean, what a better way to see the environment than by bike, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You can't sit there and stare at buildings while you're driving. Well, one would hope people don't stare at buildings as they're going past them while they're driving a car.
Yeah, but we've got so many great like beachside trails around here that like, why not just go for a cruisy weekend when it's really sunny.
Now, one of my normal questions as well, when I hear that someone's got a roadie, is Beach Road. Do you ride Beach Road, or did you ride Beach Road up until you stopped riding the roadie?
Yeah, I've done it a few times. Mostly just went with friends. There was one time that I went on my own because I wanted to get my first century. So I did Morty Alec and back. Which absolutely killed my lower back, but I did it.
Well,
yeah.
Jules, looking down, you've got two cameras facing you. Looking down one of them, what's a message you would like to send out to everyone?
I mean, honestly, just everybody should keep riding or try riding. It can be hairy in some places, but there are enough initiatives now going that there's some great infrastructure being built. It's getting safer. The more cyclists there are on the road, the more aware that drivers are that we exist and that we are valid road users. I would really like to see the road authorities put a bit more thought and care into detours and how they plan to incorporate us into the plan of the future. Even with the Westgate Tunnel project, with building new freeways and that sort of thing, it shouldn't be about moving cars, it should be about moving people. We need to move people. We're going to get a greater population over the next several years, and there's not enough room for everybody to have a personal car. There just isn't. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, I couldn't have put it better myself.
Cool.
Thank you so much for today, and thanks for reaching out. It's very, very hard. Look, I point this out to everyone. I'm not a horrible person to interview you. You don't have to get scared. Okay, and I do want to talk to more women about riding because we do have a very strong male culture of riding in Melbourne and Victoria, and we actually do have a very strong female culture as well. Every day into the CBD we have 26,000 people commute, and a good portion of them, according to Bicycle Network, it's nearly 25%, I would say it is 25%, are women. So if you're out there, you see this today and you say, I want to talk to you about riding, just reach out. I'd love to have a chat. Jules, thank you so much for today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Love the bike. So jealous because I want an e-bike because I'm lazy these days. Now, the e-bikes don't mean you're lazy. E-bikes just mean that there's another reason why you've got an e-bike. For you, this is your preg e-bike?
Yep.
Or prego bike, as we'd say in Australia.
Oh, and it'll be my minivan.
And you'll be your minivan, You've got the carrier all ready to go on it and everything else. So, thank you very much for spending some time today. Unfortunately, we couldn't go to the cafe we wanted to go to.
Oh, wow.
But Salavi, this has been an absolute perfect spot to have an interview in as well. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next time. Stay informed.